I think anybody who's speaking from a podium anywhere this morning, to ignore that, it just doesn't seem right. So I just want to say, I'm very happy there's a place like this and a group like this where we can come together and just be safe, be ourselves, give to each other, talk to each other, help each other. So just wanted to say that, because there's some very sad things that are happening in the world, but sad things are not happening here. Good things, happy things are happening here. Well, it's almost Thanksgiving, and it seems to me, I'm just getting used to 2014. And here it is 2015, is almost over. It's amazing, it's amazing. Somebody said, time is God's way of preventing things from happening all at once. The collapsing of time, the movement of time. So, well, we have a most excellent agenda today, a full agenda. And before we get into the agenda, I just want to acknowledge a few things, and then I'll ask Krista to introduce herself. First one is I want to welcome Ben Gugliotta back. Ben is our secretary and one of the founding members of this club. Ben just came back from his pilgrimage to his ancestral home in Sicily. So he went out and came back safely, which we're grateful for. So Ben, welcome back.
Thank you.
It's good to see you. Secondly, I want to acknowledge Larry Eastman. Larry, we had a club humorous speech contest and evaluation contest back in September. Larry won the evaluation contest and went on to compete in the area contest and won the area contest. He went on to the district level contest.
Which is when?
It happened.
It happened.
When is it?
No, I think after area goes what?
When was it? Last week, November 1st?
2 or 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
Larry competed, represented us in the district contest. He was not successful.
By a
But-
long shot.
Oh, don't say that.
I would.
Tell him.
He did not win. He won the club contest and the area contest, did not win the district contest. But Larry, we're proud of you anyway.
Thank you, Paul.
Larry has great skills and takes this stuff seriously, and we're grateful for that. The last thing I want to mention is, please mark your calendar for the club party after the December 12th meeting. And the poster, which I'll probably send this out to everybody, December 12th from 12 to 1, it's a potluck. Please come and bring guests. We'd like to,
Gifts or gifts?
guests. Guests, and, yeah, bring guests, come to the meeting, bring guests. And also, please sign up for a role for the meeting, because that's how we advance. So, mark your calendar, please, December 12th, right here. So let's get into the program. The first thing is I want to invite our guest, Krista, to introduce herself, tell us about, Andy, you want to move down?
Yeah.
Because we're a little outside on this stuff. We want to ask you how you first heard about Toastmasters and why did you choose our club? Because in this area, there's probably 4 or 5, maybe even more Toastmasters clubs. And we are unique and special in many ways, so you chose us rather than anybody else. So what's your interest in Toastmasters and why did you choose us this morning?
My interest, well, I was actually referred by one of my associate directors to look into Toastmasters because I do have an opportunity with public speaking. I get really, really nervous. Sometimes you can visually see it, I'll start shaking or whatever, but, I really want to become, since this is my weakness, I want to really make it my strength. So, I think I just have to speak more. I chose this club. It seemed like a really friendly environment. I think probably about a year ago, you may have reached out to me through email or something, and I continuously receive emails on a bi-weekly basis. But it seemed like a friendly environment. I did look at the website, and I saw your pictures up there, so I really thought that this would be a great place for me to be able to come do that. So, that's basically it. A little bit about myself. I'm a wife and mother I've been with my husband. We've been together for almost 20 years. Well, actually, 21 years now. That's basically it.
Thank you. Krista, what's your last name?
Richland.
Thank you, Krista, and welcome. And their experience is very similar to the experience and the journey most of us here have gone through as far as the challenge and the goals and the desire to be more comfortable on our feet with speaking in public. So, welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. I hope you enjoyed the meeting. I think you probably will. The next item on the agenda is Joke Master. The Joke Master on the agenda is Isabel Cadore, our Vice President of Membership. We have a Joke Master to start each meeting to warm up the crowd. Isabel will now warm you up. Isabel, you're up.
Well, in Chinese, there's a saying called 学以致用. And in English means apply what you learn to real life. But we want our children to practice that. But when we practice that, we got to be watchful. How do they apply it? This summer, I was teaching my daughter to improve her handwriting. And I used a software online. I was typing the words she wants to practice and print out so she can trace the writing. And after a couple of sessions, she said she already learned so well she don't have to practice anymore. But she promised that she will use that technique in her school life. The new semester starts. I went to the conference and we were told she's gonna bring home an agenda book every day. There will be activities she's supposed to do at home. Then parents should sign off. So my husband agreed to sign off her agenda book. Then after a month, I asked my daughter, I said, have you got your agenda book signed every day? She said, yeah. I thought I was a little bit surprised because my husband is not very reliable. But I decided to praise my husband. I said, it's been great that you're doing that so diligently. Then he said, what agenda book? So I went back to my daughter. I said, who signed your agenda book? My daughter said, me. So I told my daughter, I said, you're not supposed to sign your agenda book. He's a papa, me should sign it. And my daughter said, I practiced Papa's signature. My writing is just as good as his.
We had a guest come in during our beginning of the meeting, so please stand up and introduce yourself. Tell us your interest in Toastmasters and how you came to choose this club, because there are about 4 or 5 clubs in this area. So tell us your name.
My name's Alex. I chose to come here today because I have a new job and it requires a lot of public speaking, and I'm not very good at it just because I get really nervous in front of people. And I found this particular club just going online, looking for ones that were near me on the Toastmasters site, and there were a lot near me, but Saturday is definitely the easiest day for me. So, yeah.
Thank you, Alex. Alex, what's your last name?
George?
Now we have a returning guest, Beverly, right?
Correct.
Why don't you just tell us about your various steps in the process? I think this is your 3rd visit as a guest?
It is, yes. This is my 3rd visit. I was previously with another Toastmaster, but because of my schedule, I was unable to continue it. So I'm looking for a new Toastmaster, and I chose this one, which I'm going to join today. Because of the hours and the location.
That's great. Beverly, tell us your last name one more time.
Richardson.
Okay, thank you, Beverly. Just for our guests, the joke that Isabel told, Joke Master is part of the meeting, and we have really 4 or 5 things we learn in Toastmasters. Giving formal prepared speeches, speaking extemporaneously off the tops of our head, which you'll see, giving good evaluations that are fair and reasonable, and also leadership skills, taking on roles in the meeting, taking on a role in the organization. So you've seen it all. You will see it all by the end of this meeting. Let's begin with our prepared speeches then. We have 3 prepared speeches this morning. I'll introduce our Toastmaster for the meeting. He is our MC for this meeting, and he's the Vice President of Public Relations. Toastmaster Shek Rahman. Shek?
you and good morning. Anybody excited here?
Yes.
All right, this is Saturday, so definitely it's a good time to start, and we are all excited to be in a positive environment. I am, as said by our president, Sheikh Rama, the vice president of public relationship in this club, and I'm excited to let you know that we have a pretty full agenda today. And in a minute, I'm going to explain exactly how we are going to conduct the meeting, because that's exactly is what my role is. And I'm going to try to maintain the time, and all of us will get out of here by noon. So that's the whole goal here. Anyway, there is a slightly glitch in our agenda, just to let you know. There is a third speaker which is actually missing, which would be Shola Lani. But I am going to, when I introduce him, of course, I'm going to let all of you guys know a little bit of introduction of him. The way it works is, we're gonna have the first session, which is our speakers, which is the main agenda, and then we're going to take a small break, depending on time, how we are doing. We'll take a smaller or shorter break if need be, and then we're gonna go into table topic master and evaluation and all those. And then at the very end, we're gonna get an educational moment from our founder, Ben Guglielmo. But in the meantime, let me explain how we do things in Toastmaster. It's unlike everywhere else. We have a timer. It will count your ahs and ums, and also there will be grammarian who will be looking after all your grammars and word of the day and all this usage. So let me not delay the meeting, and let me start introducing to our timer, counter, and grammarian.
Mr. On my agenda, I don't have a third evaluator. Do we have a third
Yeah, we
evaluator?
do. I'm the general evaluator, and I have, here's what I have.
Yeah. The
Cheryl
third
will-
evaluator name is not showing up. That's what you're
It's
asking.
Cheryl.
Yeah.
Cheryl will evaluate Farhat. Brendan and Kristen, I have that down for evaluating Shola, but she's not here yet. And evaluating June is Andy Cohen.
That would be for
So,
sure.
so the
Sean gave
evaluator,
me his book, so I don't know.
the evaluator for Shola isn't here yet. Is
No,
that what you're telling me?
no.
Andy's
Shola,
evaluating
I have his book.
the first one is Farhad. The evaluator is Cheryl. Second would be June. Her evaluator is not here yet. We'll figure it out now.
Who is
Third.
that? Who is it?
It's,
Jack. It's Jacqueline.
Brenda.
Brenda.
What we might do is bump June down to third, and give Brenda a chance to get here. And if she doesn't, we'll go to plan B.
Well, what is plan B? I think we need to decide that now. We need to back up now.
Okay. Larry Eastman.
Very
Yeah,
excited.
thanks, Larry. I'll tell you later. You're evaluating June.
So if I may ask the timer, counter, and grammarian to stand up in your own seat and explain how you're going to take your responsibility, please. The timer would be King.
Hi, Mr. Toastmaster and fellow Toastmaster, welcome guests. As a timer, my job is to help the speaker to give their speech in a specific time, not too long, not too short. So I will give this green card, means the time is long enough, and give the yellow card, that means the time is running out very soon, and the red card means you have used up your time and you need to finish it in 30 seconds. And there are specific time for the regular speech and the table topics and the evaluation speech is the green time is 5 minutes for regular speech, 1 minute for table topics, and 2 minutes for evaluation. And the yellow time is 6 minutes for speech, 1 minute and 30 seconds for table topics, and 2 minutes and 30 seconds for evaluation. And the red time is 7 minutes for speech, 2 minutes for table topics, 3 minutes for evaluation.
All are you aware that the first speech is 4 to 6 minutes, and that Shola's speech is
8 to 10
8 minutes to 10?
Yeah, but today
So
is
are you aware of that? I mean, because what you just said, I believe, was the speech was 5 to 7.
Yeah, today, oh,
They're not all 5 to 7, that's my point.
Right, right.
Okay, you're aware of it,
Yeah.
that's important.
but-
As I introduce, I'll go into a little bit detail of that.
Okay, you are,
Yeah, that should
tell
be-
me, okay,
that should be good.
thank you.
Next would be our counter. Saisha.
Hi, my role as the art counter is to note and keep track of words and sounds used as fillers by the speakers during the meeting. I'll also be looking for repetitive words such as I, you know, this means, and also the word of the day. My intent is not to catch you speakers using the filler words, but to help you keep aware that the fillers that you use are out of habit, and these are the words that affect in delivering your speech effectively. I'm not being officious. I'll be counting the speaking errors for all the speakers and report at the end of the meeting when I'm called upon.
Thank you. There you go, usage of the word of the day. Next would be grammarian, Helen.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm the grammarian today. I got to pick the word of the day. I went online and just picked one from the other day. But I really liked it because it reminds me of something who's been in the news a lot. It's getting on my nerves. Officious, assertive of authority in an annoyingly domineering way, especially with regard to petty or trivial matters. Intrusively enthusiastic and offering help or advice, interfering. Usage, the officious man is widely disliked. I would say if you're an officious person, you would be widely disliked. I already had nice use of it today. As a grammarian, I'm supposed to try and check people on, catch their awkward use of grammar, verb tense, incorrectly used, things of that nature. I'm not really good at this, so I'll do my best. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I think we're pretty good on time, so let us get started with our first speaker. Our first speech is by June Ramin. The title of our speech is A Journey Through Science. I'm sorry, is that first speaker is Farhad?
The title is mine, but Farhad.
That's okay. Yeah, the first speaker is Farhad. I'm sorry about that. Farhad Khan, and the title is A Journey Through Science. Introduction is, this is my icebreaker speech. I will be talking about my education, family, and profession. Profession. Very good.
Can I put it on slide here or no?
Yes, it's all set up.
We're gonna drop the screen, yeah.
And then you can. This is connected.
Lower the screen, the buttons on the wall.
Do I need to have this?
Wow.
Yeah.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and guests. I'll be representing about this is my icebreaker speech, where I'll be letting you know about myself. I actually I was born somewhere here in India, called, there's a small town called Rampur. And there I lived in a joint family, it's like extended family with my grandparents, my uncle's family, cousins, and I went to the, since it was a small town, I did my 12th grade, which is like a secondary or education in the town, and then I moved to universities called, sorry, the wrong thing. Right, so, to Aligarh, where I did my master's, bachelor's and master's in chemistry. So, which is located somewhere here in south of my hometown. And when I moved here, because I had a secondary education, it was in Hindi medium it's called, my regional language, and then I moved to English language. So English was the second language, so I had quite difficulty in standing up with the class. So very often it used to happen that I have to carry a dictionary with my textbook. But eventually I did my master's and PS and master in chemistry. Then I applied for my PhD program in chemistry, and I was all the way moved to, it's called Trivandrum, which is south part of India. And it was like a shock for me, culture shock, which people say when they come from India to US. I already had a culture shock in my own country, where they have a different language, different food, and a kind of different culture. So I did my PhD for 5 years here in chemistry. There's a place called Chitra Medical Center, and to do my PhD I also went actually to Calcutta to do some research work for a couple of months. After completing my PhD, I started looking for a job, and I got a job all the way in Srinagar, in northmost of India, which is in Jammu and Kashmir. And while doing this, working there, after a year or so, I was kind of chasing my dreams, and I got an offer from University of Notre Dame, South Bend, Indiana, and I moved there to do the fellowship in biochemistry. Working there for 2 years, and then I got an offer from NYU, and then I came to this area, which was Hopkins, first time I came, and worked there for a couple of years and moved to University of Maryland. Currently I am working in Walter Reed Army Institute of Research and working on malaria vaccine development. This malaria vaccine, malaria actually is a parasite. It has two hosts. One is mosquito, Anopheles mosquito, and one is human. So it is a devastating disease, especially in Africa and Southeast Asia, which include India and actually Myanmar, as well as Thailand, Indonesia, and mainly tropical countries. So this Walter Reed Army Institute has a program for malaria vaccine development, because it sends its troops to different locations, and vaccine is like a preventive medicine. So if they can, the army has an interest that if they can develop a vaccine, they can give to the soldiers, and they don't have to look for drugs. Although right now some drugs are available, some Plasmodium, this parasite has become resistant, like chloroquine. But there are other medications out there, it can have some side effects also. On the part of my family side, I was married in 1986. I have a daughter and a son. My daughter is in our medical school, she's around 27 years old. My son is in high school, in the 12th grade, he is going to the college. And my wife works in Southwest. So with this, I conclude that I wanted to learn this place, why not tell Toastmaster, because I want to present my work from laboratory research to the general public. And that's how I like to join Toastmaster and conquer my fear of public speaking. Thank you.
this was his icebreaker speech. So what I would like to ask you, all of you, to stand on your feet and have a standing ovation. Thank you very much. That's the icebreaker, and that's how we start our speech in Toastmaster here. So let me get going with our second speech. As I said, we have a pretty full agenda today, and we can maintain our time. Our second speaker is June Rami. June's speech is about celiac disease and food allergies, both subjects she is very familiar with. She is a published author of a cookbook for multiple food allergies, and the title of her speech is How to Survive When Your Food is Killing You. Please welcome June Rami for her speech.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow members, and guests. Celiac disease and food allergies are serious, and they're on the rise. I'm going to give you 3 scenarios, and I'm going to ask you to put yourself in somebody else's shoes for a few minutes. I'd like you not just to visualize yourself there, but also to feel what it might be like to be in that situation. For some people, going to the grocery store is a totally frustrating experience. Imagine yourself walking down aisle after aisle after aisle after aisle, and there is nothing you can eat that is not going to make you incredibly ill, with the exception of a few fresh vegetables and some fresh cuts of meat. This is what my daughter goes through when she goes grocery shopping. Imagine yourself going out to eat. You explain to the wait person that you have a severe lactose intolerance. And after lots of questions, you decide on a fried calamari because you're told that it has no dairy in it. Within minutes of receiving your meal, you are doubled over in pain. The chef has soaked the calamari in milk the day before. He thought it was okay to just rinse it off and that a little bit wouldn't hurt you. Food allergies don't work that way. The third scenario is, again in a restaurant, you are given 2 options for bread. One is a banana bread with walnuts. The other one is a pumpkin bread. You explain to the wait person that you have a severe allergy to walnuts, and you choose the pumpkin bread. With the first bite, your throat closes up, and you scramble for your EpiPen to save your life. You look over at the wait person, and her face is as white as a sheet. She did not know she couldn't cut the pumpkin bread on the same board and with the same knife as the bread that had the walnuts in it. These are all scenarios that happen every day. Now, a minute ago, I mentioned food allergies and celiac disease in the same breath, but they're very different, and I'd like to give you just a couple of quick explanations. Celiac disease is a genetically predisposed autoimmune disease that is greatly underdiagnosed in adults and children. It is a disease. It damages the intestinal tract. It is not a food allergy. There's no pharmaceutical cure for it. The only thing you can do is to stay away from gluten in all forms. And gluten is found in wheat, rye, barley, and to a lesser degree, oats. Now, this is really scary when you get into the numbers. The National Foundation for Celiac Awareness says that approximately 1 in 133 Americans has celiac disease. If you take the population of Maryland and do the numbers, that comes out to 45,000 people with celiac disease. Now, here's the real kicker. 80% do not know they have celiac disease or have been misdiagnosed. It takes, on the average, 6 to 10 years to get diagnosed. And in that amount of time, incredible damage is done to the intestinal tract. Food allergies, on the other hand, are simply that. They're allergies. They're not considered a disease. The most common food allergens are cow's milk, eggs, peanuts, tree nuts, soy, gluten, fish, and shellfish. There are other allergens which are quite common, and they include coconut, canola, chocolate, what a killer, chocolate, corn, onions, garlic, rice of all kinds, potatoes of all kinds, tomatoes, ginger, green tea, you name it. People can be allergic to it. There are some simple strategies for keeping yourself safe when your food is killing you. One is to keep a food diary. And this will help you determine what foods are bothering you, which ones are safe for you. Another thing you can do is to read all labels. It seems so simple, but foods that have always been safe before may not be safe in the future, because the truth is, manufacturers can change their processes and their procedures without prior notification to the public. You can also call the manufacturer, and you can ask very specific questions and insist on accurate knowledge. You can probably find out very easily whether the food has been processed on equipment that is shared with other allergens. Know that your body can change without prior notification to you. Something that has always been safe to you in the past may not be safe a year from now. So listen to your body, pay attention, see what it's saying to you.